Hey, buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kilbin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and this is a deck spotlight on a deck I'm calling the Argent Zoo Warlock, played by the player Cursed. Now, I'm not too familiar with the player Cursed, but he did play this list pretty high on the Legend ladder at the close of the last season, which was just a few days ago, so a very relevant and timely zoo list that has some interesting answers to the current meta and does things a little bit differently. Now, the reason I'm calling this the Argent Zoo, as you might notice, there are a few different Argent cards here. The Argent Horse Rider, the Argent Squire, and the Argent Commander. Now, all of those cards do have something in common. They all have Divine Shield, and in many cases have Charge, here with the Argent Horse Rider and the Argent Commander in particular. So this deck skews a little bit towards cards that have sort of immediate impacts with all the chargers between Doomguard, Argent Commander, and Argent Horse Rider, but also has a lot of Divine Shields, and you'll note a very unusual card in Lance Carrier. This one is almost never played at all in any regards, and in many ways it's kind of a worse abusive Sergeant, at least in my perspective, because it's more expensive, right, and the stats don't align quite as well. 2 attack is so much more powerful than 1 attack most of the time. And for Zoo, usually when you're buffing a minion and trading up with it, it's dying anyway, so you don't care about the effect being permanent, because Abusive Sergeant is only this turn, whereas Lance Carrier is a permanent buff. But when you have charging Divine Shield minions like Argent Horse Rider, Commander, and so on, suddenly that buff from Lance Carrier being permanent is way more relevant, even with Argent Squire as well. You buff the minion, it trades up, it pops the Divine Shield, and it's left alive with higher attack, which means it's higher priority for your opponents to kill. It can continue to make trades in the future, so on and so forth. So some pretty interesting synergies there with a handful of Grand Tournament cards and some Argent cards, clearly. Plus, with a card like Brand Bronzebeard in this list, that permanent buff gets twice as strong and twice as scary. There's also Defender Vargas to work with Brand Bronzebeard and a couple other battle cries, I guess, that aren't quite as good, like Flame Imp. But altogether, some unusual cards. This deck also adds in Young Priestess, which is not a card you typically see. But all these 1 health things that you're suddenly buffing, the Argent Horse Riders, the low health Argent Commander, Argent Squire, if you have a Young Priestess on board, guess what? Those are even more likely to survive and carry on those buffs and do what Zoo does. So, pretty interesting. The last unusual card on this list I would consider is Wrathguard. Not totally sure why this one's getting played. I think it's just to give the deck a little bit of a meatier body, because it does sacrifice stats in many cases for these chargers or these buffing cards. Plus, I think Wrathguard lines up pretty well against a lot of the early game cards you'll see from Shaman in particular, like Totem Golem. Your Wrathguard can kill a Totem Golem or can kill a Tunnel Trog pretty easily, whereas not all early minions for Zoo do, for instance, like Dark Peddler, Direwolf Alpha, so on and so forth. So, definitely a different spin on a Zoo list, a little bit old school in many ways, with like Argent Commander and some of these Young Priestess used to be an old school Zoo deck, but a lot of new and unusual stuff as well. But a good list that's been played at a very high level and wins a lot of games. So all that said, now that we've taken a look at the list, let's go ahead and take it out onto the ranked ladder for a few games to see this thing in action. We're currently at rank 14, but it's very, very early in the season still. So rank 14 is going to be pretty high level players, and a lot of people who were legend last season still making the climb back up, and we're going to face some top tier decks and high level competition for sure. So looking forward to seeing how this deck plays. One advantage of playing what is, not kind of the top tier Zoo deck or the most recognizable version of a deck on the ladder at any given time is that the impact of surprise, of playing something people weren't expecting, can be pretty powerful, because they'll be playing around certain things that they expect you to have, and then you won't have those cards. You'll have other things that they weren't imagining. So having an unusual list often gives you a few bonus wins just out of that aspect alone. So I like Imp Gang Boss against Warrior quite a bit. I don't love these as much. It depends on what kind of warrior it is, and these days you never know. There are so many. Voidwalker's just not good against Fiery War Axe. It would force him to use the coin, but I think I'm going to send it back. I'll keep the Dark Peddler just to make sure we have some sort of play. Flame Imp is still not great against Warrior, but I like it a little better. At least he requires some damage taken to kill the Flame Imp, unlike the Voidwalker. I'd rather save the Voidwalker to protect something of value. So he does have the axe, it looks like. As they always do. As they always do. So we're going to just send this out to die. Seems bad, but it's actually fine. Mortal Coil's intriguing, but I think Power Overwhelming is too good to pass up, frankly. Power Overwhelming is not as good in this list with the charging Divine Shield minions, because you don't necessarily want them to die. You want them to stick around. But still, it's Zoo, and Power Overwhelming often works. So we'll see if we can't make it work. We'll just play the Imp King boss on curve here. It doesn't kill that necessarily, but we may be able to Abusive Sergeant up into something else or force some awkward plays. Looks like he has a dead turn. So that's good for us. So we'll likely Abusive Sergeant. We'll just load up the board here. We could play the Horse Rider Abusive Sergeant, but then we've got 2 1-health guys out. It's a little susceptible to whirlwind effects. So we'll just do it this way. This is also going to result in some 1-health dudes out, I guess, but not as high value or as expensive of one, right? It's going to be kind of token stuff and secondary minions that we don't care quite as much about as spending 3 mana on something that just straight up dies to a whirlwind effect. I guess we're going to go all in here and look for some damage. I'm going to play this too. It's hopefully going to hit one of the 1-health things, or even the Imp King boss wouldn't be bad either. But now we only have 2 1-health guys out. So Ravaging Ghoul's not that great. Spawns a minion for us. Cthulhu's Chosen's not that great. So we'll probably use the Abusive Sergeant here to kill that, and probably use the Imp as well. And just play our 2 minions here. We could use this to kill it, but again, I think I'd rather keep the Divine Shield intact than have these little weak minions out. This is a little susceptible to Brawl, obviously, but we can't play too hard around Brawl. Pushing quite a bit of damage, but it's Cthulhu Warrior, so he's going to be able to recover that. 1 Shield Bearer, and he's full health again. So we kind of need to win in like the next turn or 2, honestly. And we have 8 damage in hand, so that's a slow play by him. We might actually just win the game here. How much damage do we have? 5, 7, 9, 11, 19. Yeah, we have lethal. I'm glad we were able to win now, because frankly, if the game had gone another turn or 2, we would have been in a bad spot. Yeah, and again, you know, if he'd had Brawl, we would have been a little worse off, clearly. But you can't always play around every card. We had to win the game soon, so we can't just dance around forever and kind of hope we dodge the cards that he may or may not have. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. And that worked out. And the Power Overwhelmings were the right choice. We needed damage to win. Mortal Coil wouldn't have helped us at all there. Another warrior. I'd love to see another class, but these days, it's not particularly surprising. Oh, we'll keep these 2. We don't need the Lance Carrier just yet. It's not that great here. But Horse Rider might do something cool. Particularly with Abusive Sergeant, that's nice to see. We'll play the Flame Imp on 1. Save the coin. We don't need to get the Abusive Sergeant out just yet. I'm not super pumped to see Bran. I don't think he's going to be helpful for a while. But he could be a 3-mana minion too. So, I just don't really have a great turn here, do I? I think we'll just trade and coin the Bran. Again, he's just a 3-mana minion here. I mean, I may get some value out of the Abusive Sergeant or something next turn, but I'm really just playing him as a 4-health minion that I think he'll have trouble killing at 4 health. And it looks like that's going to be accurate. So I can Horse Rider here and trade, and this will be at 1 health, and that'll be at 1 health. It's so bad against Ravaging Ghoul. Not all Cthulhu Warriors are running Twilight Elder or I could also Direwolf Alpha, Abusive Sergeant, or just Abusive Sergeant. I think I'll do it this way. I mean, I just don't have a great option, right? I'd like to play Abusive Sergeant in a 2-drop with some health. But, I don't know. Abusive Sergeant, Direwolf, I guess it's okay. I'll do that. It sets up a good Argent Horse Rider next turn as well. This is going to have way too much attack. But still, we need to kill it, so it's fine. I mean, I'm kind of sad about losing 7 damage to face. But see, Ravaging Ghoul here is pretty good. Yeah, it's better than if we'd played the Horse Rider. So that was kind of the thought here, because now we can at least make this trade. I guess I actually positioned this incorrectly for this deck. I'm used to positioning things to the left to set up like Forbidden Dude summonings, but with Imp King Boss, it actually needs to be on the right here, so a little bit of an awkward turn. I think I'll probably just Doomguard here. I mean, we lose some high value stuff, but it'll force him to have the execute, and if he executes, he may not be able to kill this other stuff. We could just trade both those in, play like Imp King Boss, life tap, but I don't know. I think we need to apply pressure, much like last time. Those are the 2 I would like to lose, so I think we got lucky there. Just think we have to apply a lot of pressure. It's almost certainly going to get executed. If not, we're in a good spot, though. Oh, it's not going to get executed. We'll just ignore that. Get a life tap. Gonna Imp King Boss and Taunt here. This is really bad for Brawl, of course, right? But probably could have placed that inside the Doomguard, but it's really not super relevant because we're not trying to kill the Cairn. We're just looking for damage, and it might matter that it dies first and doesn't get to attack next turn. So I'd rather have this next to something that actually gets to attack. So he'll trade into the Doomguard probably here. He doesn't have a lot of mana left. Oh, Bash is actually a great answer, though. So we're in a bit of a pickle here. We just don't have a ton of damage, right? I just can't kill that very cleanly, so I'm going to ignore it. It obviously sets up a good trade for him next turn with my Imp King Boss, but I need to kill him, right? We need to win the game. It's basically the next turn or 2 or bust. So Soulfire, Doomguard, that kind of stuff is going to be great. Looks like he's trying to take damage off the board as opposed to kill the Imp King Boss. So it might be a good sign that he doesn't have a heal right now. I don't think his Cthulhu's at 10 yet, so I don't think Ancient Shieldbearer is going to work for him. He's looking to remove damage, clearly. The 1 health minion getting buffed by Young Priestess might actually be super relevant just because if he has a Ravaging Ghoul or something, some sort of whirlwind effect. Oh, man. It's actually good that that's not 2 of them, but still, it's actually going to stymie us quite a bit. Quite a bit. We're going to have to just kill it. No trade-ups here. That's really unfortunate that we weren't able to trade up a little better. I don't think he can still armor, though, or at least with Ancient Shieldbearer, because he doesn't have the mana to get a Cthulhu buff. I guess he could 2 mana Cthulhu buff, and well, Gorehal's not bad. We don't really mind if he's taking face damage, I don't think. We may have to kill that now, just because it's too enticing. If we don't have lethal, I mean, there's a chance we draw 6 damage, right? There's Soulfire, there's Doomguard, there's all kinds of outs here. Defender of Argus is not it. Let's dig for lethal. Those don't actually go that well together as far as finding damage is concerned. I can't buff both and Direwolf both, so we're going to be 1 damage off lethal here, which is really sad. I'm not going to kill that, just because, I don't know, if he uses the weapon, he's going to be very close to dead. He's going to have to taunt one anyway, kill a taunt anyway, so. Again, I don't know if he can armor up from Ancient Shieldbearer. He hasn't had the Cthulhu buffs he needs. He's still at 9. He has 3 health right now, as far as we can tell. What an unfortunate draw that these two things can't both buff both minions' attacks. Yeah, he didn't have it. He had to kill a taunt, and looks like it wasn't going to work out for him. Wow, cool. Okay, so we just pressured him enough that he wasn't able to get his Cthulhu stuff rolling on time. So, good deck so far. It's working out pretty well. It's doing zoo stuff, but in a different way, right? A refreshing way. So we'll keep going. At least one more game here, see how we go. So if you're looking for a different way to play zoo, this one makes a lot of sense to me. Does different things, a little more fun. You're going to have to be a little more creative and think about plays. So more engaging while you're laddering. Don't love this hand at all. Argent Squire's great, actually, but we'll send the rest back. Argent Squire into Lance Carrier is a great combo, exactly what we were talking about. It becomes a 3-1, basically. We may also end up coining out the Argent Horse Rider, just depending on how we feel and what's happening. If we need 2 damage instead of 3, which we probably will, because it's probably like King's Elec or Huge Toad. Could also coin out the Imp Gang boss if he doesn't do anything, which that actually feels pretty good too. Yeah, I think we'll probably coin out the Imp King boss here just to get it rolling. Wrathguard's also intriguing. It dies, though, to Eaglehorn Bow pretty easily, so we'll maybe save that for a future turn after we've wasted the bow, because the bow is really terrible against these. He will probably Animal Companion, though, and get Huffer and kill my Imp Gang boss. If he doesn't get Huffer, if he gets Misha, carry on Grub. Cool. Can work with that. I'll just Horse Rider, trade, kill it. It's on curve. It's a little susceptible to Unleash the Hounds because we'll have 4 minions out. But it'll be off mana for him at the very least. And he won't be able to kill my Imp King boss, so we should still have the board even if he Unleash the Hounds. And, I mean, there's going to be future turns where Unleash is also good, so... So he's having like a marginally good turn, right? So I think we'll just play our 2-drops here, maybe? I don't really love Lance Carry here. It doesn't do anything. This dies to Quick Shot, so I can't really buff it from Quick Shot, you know? It's not... I guess I'll just Horse Rider. It's a little off curve. I don't love it, but I think it utilizes our resources the best. I want this out when there's more stuff out, or as Doomguard fodder, frankly. I think it's fine. That's not going to be very good with our buff here. We're going to just demolish that thing. Although Doomguard's sort of enticing too, frankly. No, we'll just demolish it. It's fine. Oh, that's tough. We don't have a lot of high cost stuff. He lost a tough one there. Yeah, let's Wrathguard. It's still bad to Quick Shot. Maybe we can bait out a Quick Shot before we play that. I don't want to take 6 damage, or I mean 3 damage for nothing. So let's Dark Peddler first and see what we get. I like Voidwalker. Taunts are quite good. That's going to help me play the Doomguard on a future turn as well. Or the Wrathguard, excuse me. So we'll do this. We'll go this way. Still kind of susceptible to Unleash the Hound, so I'm going to play this just to slow down Unleash. I know I said I wanted it with the Wrathguard, but yeah, it's fine. Because Unleash killing a 4-1 would feel pretty bad. I mean, he could still Unleash and kill the 4-1, but at least he'll be stalled a little by the Voidwalker, hopefully. He's going to look for Unleash. Jeez. He's going to find it too, I'm sure. I hope he didn't get it. I'm going to be pretty mad. to timely unleash the hounds. No, he doesn't. That's quick shot, it looks like. So that makes Wrathguard a lot better. But we may just Doomguard next turn. We may not even need to Wrathguard. Whoa! That is not a card I expected to see, obviously. Yeah, I'll just Abusive Sergeant Doomguard. I mean, we lose the Soulfire and the Wrathguard, but it's on curve and we'll just be able to do a ton of damage. So we're clearly going to be able to kill that thing. But this is like Yogg-Saron Zoo, which I didn't realize initially. So we'll just do 7 here. We kind of need to play around Explosive Shot, I guess. So we'll put this next to the 2 worst minions. I don't know if we really need to play around Explosive Shot or not, but I don't know. This says 7 health, so it's not even really that. He's out of Call the Wild. He can't Call the Wild. I think we're in a great spot here. I guess it's not a Yogg-Saron deck. Why does he run Doomsayer? I'm very confused, because you're right, he has Fiery Bats. I really don't understand that at all, frankly. It's very, very weird. Ugh, I want to use this, but I can't really right now. My Doomguard positioning in particular messed it up. Let's Life Tap and see what we get. I think we have to play the second Doomguard, right? He doesn't have answers. We can still kill this stuff pretty easily and have a solid board, so... just make sure we don't have lethal, right? 7, 8, 9 plus 5 is 14. So no, we'll go ahead and clear this. And we'll still try to play around Explosive Shot somehow. I don't know that he can kill these very easily. Call the Wild will just run into our taunt and we'll, he won't be dead, but he'll be close. Call the Wild's actually kind of annoying to this board, frankly. Because we'd have to run through the Misha and the Huffer would still be alive, probably. Another one of these, but thankfully we have some good trades. Let's Life Tap and see what we get. Abusive Sergeant, does that give us lethal? No, I think we're 1 off. We can do, yeah, we're 1 off. It does allow us to kill this though and leave him with a pretty weak board. I don't know. Should I just go face? It's kind of bad to unleash the hounds. We do have a lot of chargers in our deck. We have Argent Commander, we have Soulfires. We've lost 1 Soulfire though, so I guess we don't really have... I think I'll just clear. I don't know why he's so upset, but... Really wish that this had hit the Doomguard. Would have put it to 3, which might have made it very difficult for him to kill. I don't know what he's tracking for. Maybe Call the Wild here would be pretty good. Yeah, Call the Wild wouldn't be bad. He could... he doesn't get it, though. He doesn't get it. That was awkward there at the end. Felt like we could have lost that game. It was actually kind of a little bit precarious, to tell you the truth. Okay, so let's just play one more. I mean, we're clearly getting this deck down. I mean, it's working. It's doing stuff. We've won 3 games against top tier decks, mid-range hunters, some Cthulhu warriors. It's making fun trades and doing cool stuff. Sad that we got another warrior. I would have liked to see a shaman or somebody, but we'll see what happens. It might be a different kind of warrior here. I'll send back the Horse Rider and the Soulfire. We'll keep these. Dark Peddler is honestly not the best card usually to keep in your mulligan, because it just doesn't pressure a ton, particularly against Warrior. But this deck doesn't have a lot of high pressure early drops. There's no like Knife Jugglers and all that stuff, so it can do a little more work. I'm going to go ahead and play it just because I need a minion, and it might be great with Lance Carrier to get out some early damage. This is kind of tough. I don't think we'll ever get a Reliquary Seeker off. I'm actually going to take the Bloodsail Corsair. It could ruin a Gorehowl, even a Fiery War Axe. It might make pretty impactful play. Maybe not next turn, but oh, see, perfect. This is the dream. This is not even that bad against Ravaging Ghoul. Like, yeah, he kills one thing, but then I just get the board back. Whereas Abusive Sergeant would die to a whirlwind effect, right? Oh my word! The value. The ridiculous value. I'm actually going to play Bran here instead of the Imp King boss, because there's no way for him to do 4 damage very effectively on an empty board like this, and we may get a good Defender Vargas off and have like a 3-4 and a 4-6 on the board on turn 4. Could also maybe make a play with these two if we need to kill something big. Oh, he's going to Slam Execute, though. Look at this boss. He did not kill it. Okay. He's setting up a future turn. I'm still going to do that play. This is about as good of a value as you can expect here from Defender Vargas. +2/+2 on each guy, and it's just on curve. He may still execute this. He may think he has a chance to kill a Fiery War Axe. Yeah, he drew the execute, so he didn't actually have it. I think he was setting up a Fiery War Axe play, honestly. So we'll probably Horse Rider into Abusive Sergeant to kill that, to preserve our bigger minions. It's a little off curve, but it keeps the most amount of stuff alive. He may also have like a whirlwind effect, right? But even then, he leaves 2 pretty big minions out, hopefully. I'm saving this. He's clearly got weapons. He's pretty aggressive. He's got probably, it's like a tempo warrior, it looks like. With the there's the whirlwind effect. Oh no, actually, he might still have it. If he does, he should have done it the other way around. But oh, he drew it. Wow, nice. It's pretty good, honestly. It's pretty good. We don't really have great charge plays here. Let's see what we get here. We might get Mortal Coil, be pretty good. Yeah, we'll definitely do this. Oh, we got a lot of damage. I'm just gonna go ahead and take care of this and play this guy. It's a pretty good board. Excuse me for the coughing here. So we have a ton of damage, right? We can do 8 here next turn. Maybe not if we won't want to risk the Doom Guard, but oh my god. Oh, that's gonna be brutal. This is so stupidly brutal. It's actually hilariously brutal. I'm glad we saved this bad boy. I hope I didn't just miss lethal, though. I might have. 8, 10, 12. Oh, we did. We missed lethal. Yeah, we had it. We could have Argent Commandered into Soulfire. So yeah, we goofed a little, clearly. Defender Vargas Soulfire does not give me lethal, but it's a pretty enticing play. No, we'll just do this. We'll clear his guy. Yeah, we should have checked lethal first, clearly, but you can't pass up that, right? Like, that's a play you can't pass up. The Bloodsail Corsair, like, that's the salt play. Plus, this is not a super control warrior. We should have plenty of damage to win the game. I don't think we're at risk of losing just yet. Yeah, so we've got it this time. Pretty sure, right? We can, that's 8, 9. Or that's 5 plus 5. Yeah, we may have extra too. We saved the Soulfire, but we don't. Yeah, that's okay. We had it anyway. Yeah, so miss lethal, but still a lot to spare here. We just rolled over his deck. Rolled over his deck. Okay, well that's gonna do it for me in the Argent Zoo, as I'm calling it, by Cursed. Really fun. Very powerful, clearly, too. 4-0 so far, and seems like we just rocketed through those games. No time at all. So, pretty fun, interesting ladder deck that's going to make people raise some eyebrows and allow you to make some surprising and impactful and powerful plays that they never saw coming. So, if you've got the cards, it's a pretty cheap deck and a very rewarding one as well. So, give this deck a try for sure. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.